What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the lunch hour. It is lunch with the Clydesdale. What's going on? Got this on the wrong setting. Let me see. There we go. Got to show off Ken's steak there for a minute. There we go. All right. So what's going on, everyone? Today is a national holiday here in the U.S. That means it's a state holiday. Means I didn't have to work today, which I really enjoyed. Getting to sleep in a little bit today. Yeah, it's been a rough couple weeks with people out sick and stuff, so I really enjoyed the day off today. So we're gonna throw a dart. Here we go, left-handed again. Oh man, so close. Man, I have to show you guys this one because it was a pretty good one. Hopefully you guys can see that. It is just to the right, just to the left of the bullseye. Just to the left. Almost got it. That's the left hand, man. I don't know where it's going to go. But it seems to be working better than trying to go up over all the equipment here. What's going on, Judy Reed? Meredith Jones. Good to have you guys here. I'm going to talk about this a little more in depth later in the show, but man, it is like a black hole of content right now, trying to come up with things to talk about. But I found something I wanted to do. Since last year, we ended on the season just on such a poor note with Lazar's death. I wanted to kind of remember back to last year, some of the good times, and I want you guys to participate in this as well. I have my top 4 moments from last year, and I didn't really take a ton of time to think about it, but these are things that came to my mind immediately that I really enjoyed from last season. Personally, whether I was there, whether I wasn't, whether I took part in it, these are just my 4 favorite things from last year. And I would love to hear what your guys' favorite things were from last year. And maybe tomorrow I'll compile some video, if I can find it, on whatever your favorite thing was from last year. So I'm going to count down my 4 with some video to kind of show you what that is. And then I will open it up. You can either put it in the chat here or in the comments below. And I'll try to look up some video so we can show that stuff tomorrow. So my number 5 was something that happened to me personally. And that is, I took on this challenge of doing behind the scenes for the Masters CrossFit Games. This is episode 1. It's the trailer from episode 1. This is my number 4 favorite thing from last year. It was a ton of work. Huge thanks go out to Jonathan Ortega, who did all of the workout montages in this piece, along with Caitlin Walters, who filmed stuff with him. And Holly Dugan did all the graphics for this. So huge thanks to all of them. Without them, this would not even be possible. But I'm going to play a little bit of this trailer just to remind you of, like, this happened last year. This is my number 4 favorite thing from last year. And which one's your favorite?
The rope climb one's not too bad. I think the rope climb will be okay. Burpee one and muscle up one.
Guys, where are you coming in from?
Brazil.
Brazil?
Brazil.
For an actual camera?
All right.
Seriously?
What's your name?
Kevin McVeigh. I'm from Pennsylvania.
And you're a badass. I've watched you in different competitions.
Thank you.
Throughout the year. Any goals for the weekend?
Win.
I'm Simon Hope from Auckland in New Zealand.
New Zealand, awesome.
Yeah.
Albert, police,
What division are you in?
55 to 59.
So that gives you an idea of the masters behind the scenes. That was check-in day. We then ended up doing 12 episodes, one for each workout and a check-in day. And it turned out better than I could have ever expected. But that is my number 4 favorite thing from last year. My number 3 thing from last year is, I'm not going to show you like the actual thing that happened, but something that came from it. And that is, my number 3 favorite thing from last year was Colton Mertens' touch and go on the snatch ladder at semifinals. But what came from that is that Colton started making these videos talking to either a future child or his dogs or a pig and telling them the story of what he did. And so I'm going to play you from Colton's Instagram, him telling the story of when he used to be a CrossFitter. So here we go.
Yeah, 4 times individual. Well, 1 year was team. I don't tell people that. They don't know better. Yeah, even won an event at the games. Called me the Iron Hog. Ha! Won 2 events at the semifinals. Whew. Last second, had to go touch and go to beat Fikowski. Barbell came down, bounced off my leg, still had to touch and go. We came down to the final event. I was about to whoop them boys' ass. And boom, no rep. First one. And then boom, back to back no reps. The boys got lucky. I'll be back.
So my number 3 is the touch and go that Colton did on the floor. But I thought it was more fun to show kind of what came from that, and him doing these little spots where he would either be talking to his little pig or talking to a dog or talking to a future child about the legend of the Iron Hog. And so that is my number 3 thing that happened last year. Stop sharing that. And then my number 2 thing came from a little personal back and forth with myself and John Young. John Young said that he was the only person to predict this person would make the games. But little did he know that I had made that prediction as well. And I actually put it in my Heat 1 app. And I actually am really close with this person. So the event was that she made the CrossFit Games. That is my number 2. And that is Hattie Canyo. Nobody picked her. Nobody thought she would do anything. And then I made this reel to dog John Young because he was not the only person to think she was going to the CrossFit Games. So here is that reel that I made.
4.
Is she doing good?
She's doing great.
I'm so happy for Hattie. I said that she would make the games, and everybody pushed back on me, and it kind of convinced me to back off of her a little bit.
Ready, set, let's go. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up. I'm on the way up, going all the way up. There's nothing you can do to stop it. I've been on the way up cause I know I'm popping. Hits, no misses. Clean up like the dishes. Ain't no point telling me to stop cause I won't listen. Every level got a new.
So that was fun to be able to go back and forth with John Young and for Hattie to get her ticket to the CrossFit Games. And now her second ticket, she's going to be going back again this year. So that is my number 2 thing. Favorite thing from last year was Hattie Canyo punching her ticket to the CrossFit Games. And punching your ticket is like my least favorite thing. And I can't believe I just said it. I tried to say qualify or something like that. I'm just tired of the phrase punching your ticket. So my number one favorite thing from last season was kind of important to what's happening today. And that is that currently leading the last chance qualifier is Lydia Fish, and that should be official tomorrow. But she was my favorite thing from last year. I was at the Syndicate Crown when she was attempting the snatch ladder, getting to the last bar, which would have been a PR. And I was filming her, and I was able to capture her family in the stands in front of her as she's doing the lift. And this is my favorite thing from last year's season. And I will try to blow this one up so you can see it a little bit better. And here she is attempting the final bar of the snatch ladder. And that there is Lydia Fish. That is what it's all about. Hitting that bar, watching her family shoot through the roof with excitement. And the famous story is her dad right here in orange always wears an orange shirt in the stands. So she's able to pick him out. And during an event, and her hitting that lift, which was a PR at the end of a snatch ladder, for as tiny as she is, was really super freaking cool. And that was my number one favorite thing from last year. And so pumped that I was able to capture that with my own little camera at the Syndicate Crown. So those were my top 4 things from last season. If you guys have any others, shoot them in the comments, shoot them in the chat, and then I'll try to find video footage of them tomorrow, and we can all reminisce a little bit and kind of remember the good stuff from last year, because it all ended in Lazar's death, and I don't want it just to be remembered for that. There was a lot of great things that happened last year, and want to make sure that we can remember those and remember the really cool times. So that is my top 4. And if you just are getting here, number 4 was my doing the behind the scenes of the Masters CrossFit Games and how much fun that was. Number 3 was Colton's touch and go at the West Coast Classic. Number 2 was Hattie Canyo qualifying for the CrossFit Games out of West Coast. And number 1, Lydia Fish hitting the last bar on the snatch ladder last year at Syndicate Crown. So another thing I want to talk about real quick is, if you've not seen it, Coffee Pods and Wods went to like a level 1 or a level 2 and filmed Rob Lawson talking about his why. And he is a seminar staff member. I know Rob because he was my lead when I was a judge for Rogue. I met him during the COVID year. During the COVID year, I was judging Saxon Pancheck, and Rob was in my ear during events. We had to wear Bluetooth headphones and have our phones in our pocket, and he was the head judge. And if you remember, everything was televised based on the world clock. And if the head judge needed to tell you something you were missing, you got talked to in your ear. And Rob is the person who is doing that. This talks about his sister going into a coma and how they used CrossFit to get her back, and that whole story. And it's really good. The video is only like 3.5 minutes long. Well worth your time to go check that out if you have not already. Rob's a great guy, and the story is incredible, and totally worth your time to grab that video. I also want to talk about the Rolling Stone article just briefly. I know Sivan was talking about it this morning. I talked about it briefly at the end, very, very end of the Sunday night show. I read the article over the weekend, it is completely one-sided. It is super long. The only people quoted in the entire thing are people who are sitting out this season. So it's only that perspective. They did not talk to any athlete that is competing in the CrossFit season this year. And then it's Mike Halpin giving the data that he put together from the timeline, and Brian Friend quoting throughout it. It is a complete, in my opinion, waste of time because it is completely one-sided. People are entitled to their opinions, but when you're writing an article, it should be fair and equitable, and both sides should be represented. But I think that's the story with all news these days. I don't sit and just let the news waft over me anymore. I am a person who pulls my news, and then I research further when I see things of interest that I want to know more about. And I don't just accept whatever is in the article. I want to read more and know both sides of the story before I make a decision. This Rolling Stone article is none of that. It's all one-sided. It's all people who are sitting out the season. It's all people who have a bend against CrossFit. The claims are outlandish. It's really, really ridiculous. So I just wanted to add on to that. I know Sivan kind of hit it this morning, and he hit it pretty hard. But he is absolutely right. It's complete trash. The next thing I want to talk about is I'm watching The Spin last night, and they talked about Danny Spiegel becoming an American Gladiator. And then they did a blind rankings of people who would be good American Gladiators. Weird things frustrate me, and that really, really frustrated me. I was getting ready to go to bed. I was sitting in my bedroom, like flipping out at the TV that these people apparently have never, ever watched American Gladiator. Judy says she's loved to read it. Morbid Curiosity. I got it free somewhere. I don't know how I got it. And I don't know if they locked it down or it was available earlier and now it's locked down. But I was able to get it over the weekend for free. So, but anyway, back to the American Gladiator. I've said on the show that Danny Spiegel is going to make an amazing American Gladiator. And I think that she is, because she is very athletic. She is very strong. She fits the mold of what an American Gladiator is and should be. I think on The Spin last night, John and Tyler were getting American Gladiator and wrestling confused. American Gladiator is not scripted. American Gladiator is an athletic event. It is common Joes going up against these Greek god gladiators and trying to beat them at a game. It is physical. It is contact sport. It is insanity. And what I did is I pulled up an old American Gladiator. This is Powerball, just to show you it's not fake. It's not scripted. It is athletes trying to beat athletes. And so I'm going to share the screen. Here is Powerball from back in the day on American Gladiator. And the object is to take balls from this bin and beat these gladiators out here so that you can get your colored ball into one of these cylinders. All right.
Rolls off that outside cylinder.
A 2-on-3 situation. Both contenders come up short.
Cliff getting by Turbo then. Teamwork very important for the
These
Gladiators.
guys are getting
if they get confused,
hammered.
Contenders can have a field day.
The contenders have to get separate.
I don't want to go too long because I probably don't have the rights to share this. But you can see, like, they're getting tackled to the ground. It is a full contact sport. Lido is saying, sure, but at least in the UK version, they still have personalities. And I wouldn't say they're 100% real, to be honest. I can only go by what I have known. I have watched American Gladiators, probably every episode here in the US. It was all out real, 100% here in the US when it was going through its last iteration. I'm hoping that that is the same. Yes, they did have personalities, but they were like calling people, they should be the pink pony or they should be the blah, blah, blah. That's wrestling. These are like Storm and Blade and Razor and Greek god names like Thor, and it's a very different setup. So the people they were picking that should be great gladiators, I don't necessarily agree with. The only one they had up there that I do is I think Jason Hopper would be great. He is athletic. He can play these types of sports. He does have a personality, as we're seeing as we move more and more. And the other people I could see would be like Chandler Smith. He fits that mold, right? Cara Saunders. Cara Saunders would be a badass gladiator. Yeah, like, and I think Danny Spiegel is probably the best American version of the gladiator in the CrossFit space. She is very, very athletic. I know people want to dog her for things, but the woman is extremely athletic. She is extremely strong. She will become even more popular doing this than maybe even CrossFit. Kenneth says, this was back when men were men. Well, I'm hoping that the new version is the same. Maybe the pad underneath them a little thicker, but same premise. Seth Stovall from Mayhem, he has that look. I don't disagree with you at all, Judy, but I think where he goes wrong is his personality isn't strong enough. He needs a stronger personality. Where Chandler, where Jason Hopper, where Cara Saunders, where Danny Spiegel have the personality to go along with the body type and the athleticism, if that makes sense. You have to be able to chirp. I think Colton Mertens would be great as a chirper and maybe like the underdog gladiator. Danielle Brandon would be a great choice. A great choice. You have to be able to chirp. You have to be able to talk smack, flip off the crowd, do whatever you need to become either the heel or whatever. But yeah, Chandler Smith would be fab. He would be. This is right down his alley. Yeah, so it's a combination of body type, athleticism, and personality to be an American Gladiator. And I think that they listed people like Annika Greer. I mean, I would put Danielle Brandon way above that. I think Alex Kazan would be awesome if you could up her personality a little bit. You know who would have been killer at this is Carrie Pierce would have been awesome. Trying to think who else. But yeah, I really do think Danny is going to be great at this. She is popular for reasons, and those reasons help her in this venue. Plus, I've talked to her so many times in like short snippets, even though I've never had her on my show. And she's really, really funny backstage. She's really, really, really good at all this kind of stuff. And I just think she's going to be a star. Ricky Garrard, I think he could do that. Dan Bailey, I don't know if he chirps enough. You know who would be great is Easy Muhammad. Easy Muhammad chirps all the time. Like, he would be awesome. Josh Bridges would have been a great gladiator. Taylor Self would be a good one too, but they'd have to give it a TVMA rating. Yes. Meredith, you have to be willing to be the heel or the hero. True. Easy is jacked up right now too. Like, the last couple of comps I've seen, mobility and flexibility low, jacked up high. And the dude is a chirper. I think Rich, put in the right frame of mind, would be great. I do think so. I even think like Scott Panchek has gotten to the point where like he's diving into comments and chirping back at people. I think he'd be great at it if his knees could hold up to the beating that these guys take. Rich is better as a challenger. Maybe. Yeah. John Parra that won the snatch ladder back in the day. I'm not as familiar with him. But yeah. Who would be? AJ Bartow would have been awesome. AJ Bartow looks like a gladiator. Sam Briggs, I think, would need to be a little bit bigger to kind of fit the mold, but she can trash talk with the best of them. Yeah. It does bring up like an interesting conversation though, because it really is a bunch of different components. That's a good one, AJ. AJ is, I mean, he's a mountain of a man, and he literally looks like a Greek god. Lito says in the UK, almost a third of them are CrossFitters. Judy, no one said Brooke Entz. That'd be a good one. The chick that won the obstacle course in 16 or 17, I can't remember her name. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about, had her on my show. Yep. I know what you're I know who you're talking about. Dang it. It's coming to me. Corey. Tennille. That's it. Tennille Reed Burline. Yes. She would have been good. I actually think, before the back injury, Bethany would have been awesome. Not CrossFit, but CrossFit adjacent. Would love to see Hunter McIntyre. He'd be good at it. Anywhere where you can be a trash talker and then that's an advantage for you, Hunter is one of the choices. So that's good. But anyway, it was just frustrating to me. Sarah Sigmund's daughter. I don't know if she has the trash talking. She's so stinking nice. I tell you who looks the part right now is Folo. Her muscles have muscles. Yeah. I think she's too giddy right now. I'd have to see her like talk some smack to get the full view and the personality. but she does have the body type for sure. So anyway, I just wanted to I had to clear the air. When they were talking last night, I actually thought this, Judy. I thought Hattie would be awesome. I just don't know if she could turn on the trash talking enough. She would talk, she would dance, she would celebrate, and maybe that's enough. I just don't know if she has the trash talking piece. Jake Kazan, what's up, Jake? Hope you guys are both doing better. Glad to see that you made it through that accident. Emma Tall looks jacked. Emma Tall, I think, would be a good one too. Barry McCockiner, Hattie was trash talking on Kill Taylor. You are right. I thought Hattie popped in my head last night as someone that would be really good at this. Guy would be a good choice. I think body type for sure. I think he's too Doberman to be, or lab. That's what I mean. They can't all be trash talkers though. You have to have a few good guy gladiators. But I do think that if you go back to the old ones, they all trash talked against the competitors. And that's where I think you need the good trash talking, not amongst themselves, but against the competitors. Roman, when he learns more English and becomes a naturalized citizen, that'd be good. That'd be good. Well, cool. That's my American Gladiator talking. At least I got that off my chest because they were really, really, really disappointing me last night with their choices. The next thing I want to talk about is, I've talked about how CrossFit doesn't seem to get timing right at all. Right now, we are in a content black hole. CrossFit put out all that content when there was nothing, when there was so much going on, like during the Syndicate Crown and during this event and that event, and all of their stuff was getting lost. Trying to put together a show this week has been really hard. There's been no content from CrossFit coming out. There's no events going on. Now's the time to put your Road to the Game stuff together as we're leading up to the games, and there's nothing promoting it from a semifinal perspective. Now's when you should be promoting it through your content creation. And this week, we've had nothing to watch. It's been really, really hard, again, to put in a show about any of this because there's just no content out there currently. And it blows my mind. Now, yesterday, Hiller came on a drive back from West Virginia, and I think he's putting together some more content. What's wild to me is, you guys all know I'm a big Chicago Bears fan. My Chicago Bears podcast that I watch every single day, called CHGO, went to Martinsburg, West Virginia, to interview and hang out with Tyson Bagent for 2 days. That is where Hiller came from. I feel like my two worlds are colliding again because CHGO is putting together some content like a weekend with Tyson Bagent, and I think it's happening at the same time that Hiller's doing some content, and I think it's going to be insane for me, a Bears fan, seeing it from the two different perspectives and how it's going to come out. But I was watching CHGO yesterday, and they were talking about the CrossFit workouts that Tyson was doing in order to stay in shape for the season. And to hear CrossFit talk on a Bears podcast, it just gets to be a little muddied a little bit. I really feel like you should have Road to the Games for Alex. Her comeback would be awesome. I don't disagree with you, Jake. I just don't think that team is willing to put in the time for that long for one story. I think what's missing from the new Road to the Game series is storytelling. There's just not enough of it. It's just weak. I think what Hiller's putting together is much better than what Road to the Games is putting together. I wish I did not have a day job. I would love to dive and do something deeper with a storyline like that for a period of time. So, we will reach out to them, and they are only doing it for Sagafi and Domit. That is not exactly true, because they did put one out with Ariel. Who was with Ariel? They did two. Ariel was one. Who was the other one? I can't remember if it was a male or female. Let me look that up. Whoop. Raptus. Yep. That's what it was. Thank you, Kenneth. You are like the encyclopedia of CrossFit content. So they did Ariel and Raptus as well. And I'm hearing word that they're going to keep doing a couple going forward, but again, they haven't been that great. The only one that's been good, in my opinion, has been the Hopper Pepper one, and it's only because of their personalities, and they couldn't help but have it on film. The Fisagafi one was not good at all, as it was just her training on a rest day. Barry McCockiner says, agree, Road to the Game sucks. It's just them working out, nothing personal. I agree. Completely agree. Ryan Aldrich, Road to the Games is too short now, nothing deep. And then the Aussie people are next. Craig, you still owe us a video on places to see and invite in Columbus for the Masters and Teens game. Yeah, I'll get that. Yeah, my wife is almost fully recovered now, so I can probably get downtown and get some of that stuff done in the next couple weeks. Meredith, I enjoyed Ariel Alexis episode, but they're fun people. I hope I'm conveying this. It's not about whether I enjoy watching it. It's about, like, is it the content I want to move the sport forward or not? That's the way I'm looking at it. Not like, is it just enjoyable? Because primarily I can watch any of the content and be entertained enough to enjoy it. Is it good enough to move the needle on us moving forward? Are you adding fans to these people because their story is so cool? Or is it just, are you just preaching to the congregation and nobody outside the church and just letting them watch workout porn? That's my beef with it all. Ryan says, Ricky, Madeline, Sturt, and Jay, I have high expectations for that one. I think you're setting yourself up for failure with any kind of expectation. I hope, like, I think the Dallin Pepper, Jason Hopper one accidentally was good, but I don't think the people making it are doing what they need to do. I theorize the next road to the games or final one is Madera, Sprague, and Adler, the champions. I don't disagree with you, Kenneth, at all. I think they gave that away on Boys Interrupted. It's not the people, it's about what HQ shows, right? And it's like they don't have a marketing mind. When you watch American Ninja Warrior, you're not watching it because they can get through the obstacle course or to see the athleticism of getting through the obstacle course. It's hearing that Michelle Warnke's daughter has cerebral palsy and the toll that takes on her. And now with that going on in her life, can she overcome the obstacle? It's about storytelling. That's why American Ninja Warrior has been on TV for 16 years. It's not because the obstacles are so cool that you want to see if they can get through it. That's like 10% of it. The reason you watch is because they set up the story with the individual before they go on the race, and they tell you a story that makes you want that person to overcome something. That's where CrossFit misses it. Watch Full Swing on Netflix. They do that for the golfers that they are focusing on in each episode of Full Swing. And then you want that golfer to exceed expectations and do better than you think is possible. That's where we're missing the mark in the CrossFit space. I think Hiller is getting closer and closer and closer. But that's just a third-party person going and doing it on his own dime. And is that what we want to depend on? If I own CrossFit, you need to invest in the storytelling part. And it doesn't just have to be the sport. Like the Rob Lawson piece that Peter did from Coffee Pods and Wods, 3.5 minutes long, super inspirational story. And all it was him sitting in front of an L1 or an L2 telling this story, and that's his why he does CrossFit. That's it. And it was awesome. Way better than this other stuff that's put out. Ryan Aldrich says WFP Unbreakable series is even better than Road to the Games. I would have agreed with you up until this last one. The Danielle Brandon one, Pat Vellner one, to me, bored me. It is my least rated show of this kind in the space for this year. The Laura Horvat one is my highest rated one from the season. So for them, it's either like a hit or a miss. To me, the Vellner Brandon one was a typical CrossFit Games documentary style with tour event stop one and no drama over winning it. Where at the CrossFit Games, there's built-in drama because it is the championship. To do that same style for tour stop one doesn't carry over because you don't have the built-in drama of where you are in the season and what that means. And they never left the venue. They never left the venue. So I think up until that one, they were doing much better. I think the Jeff Adler one was above average. But Jeff is never going to be like this lightning bolt of excitement either. But I would have said that about Laura Horvat until they did that one. And going back to her childhood home and the school and the gym her parents owned really educated me a lot on her past and made me learn a lot about her. And that one was freaking awesome. Lito says, Vellner was just more interesting when he was doing the CrossFit season. To be fair, like Pat's been around for a long time. We've probably heard most of the stories already through different podcasts, through different behind the scenes, through different games documentaries. I think maybe because he's 10 years in, 11 years in, we've just seen it all before, especially in the format that this one was in. So I had one more thing. This might get a little controversial. I'll save it for another day because we're already past our 45 minutes. Even though I'm off today and don't have to go back for meetings, I know most of you probably are at work, and I don't want to mess up your work day. But the last question I'm going to have for you is, Barry, I'll say it. So basically what I was going to talk about is, and I've talked about it one other time, and that is that I do believe that, so I've had AFib 2 times since I received the COVID vaccination. And with Bailey Martin going through what he's been going through, with other people having the heart issues, I've never, ever had a heart issue before all this. When I watched the Mars bit about when he had the AFib, had to have the ablation done, and the doctor saying that there is a connection to COVID and the AFib happening. I've had AFib twice, and since the vaccine, and I never ever had COVID before the vaccine. I only got it after the vaccine. So I'm not an anti-vaxxer in a way that I still need to know more, and I'm not smart enough in the science world to totally get it. But I do feel like there is a correlation to what's happened to me and something in that vaccine. Whether my body can't handle it, my body rejected something, I don't know. But when I see all these other people in the CrossFit space going through similar things that I've gone through over the last 3 years, it's really making me question a lot of the decisions that I've made in the past with the vaccine, with different things like that. And I'm still trying to work through it all. I saw what Bailey put out there, and I really, I watch and suck in all of that stuff that goes on with people who have had that experience. The Mars documentary with the Buttery Bros was exceptional for me to understand more and to see that I wasn't the only one going through all this stuff. But my family has never had a history of heart disease. My family has never had heart issues, and I never had any kind of readings to indicate that I would have a heart issue. I have other things. I have other things that my family does have a history of, but heart has never been one of them. And with all this going on, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, just I'm trying to wrap my head around and trying to get through it. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say there. And maybe we'll talk about that more throughout the show's length here. But the last thing I want to leave you guys with is I did get my media credentials for the games. I'm looking to figure out what I can cover at the games that's new and different. If you have any ideas of what you want covered at the CrossFit Games, let me know. It's really hard to get athlete interviews at the CrossFit Games. We'll probably try to do some shows live from there and do all of that stuff. But I wanted to know if there's something that you want covered that you've not seen that you think is missing from coverage of the CrossFit Games. I know Kat and I are going for sure. I need to look into who else might be going with the team. I know Ishmael, my photographer, videographer, is trying to get credentials. So we'll find out what happens there. Anything else with that, I'll let you guys know. But if you have anything that you think needs covered, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to cover that aspect of the CrossFit Games. With that, I'll be back tomorrow. Go back to work tomorrow. So I have one more day before the weekend. So we'll do lunch with the Clydesdale tomorrow. This Sunday night, we're going to have Raph Duran on, who is a CrossFit Games team athlete, to talk about what can the team division do to make it more popular, to make more people watch, because we need it for the semifinal season. It is the big draw that gets people into the venues. And I think we forgot about that this season. And it was clear and evident when we didn't have the teams there, the affiliates didn't show up to support. So with that, thank you guys so much for being here. If you're at work, get back to work, you knuckleheads, and I'll talk to you all next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale.